Hello again, everybody. I'd like to begin by saying that the opposition has raised several important questions that I will address in depth during this rebuttal. The opposition starts off with his concern that a vegetarian diet could lead to the devastation of mankind as we know it. However, the argument he uses just shows that the pesticides used on some farms are bad, something that I personally agree with, but this does not prove that being a vegetarian itself is bad. This is why there are many sustainable farms around the world that often rely upon alternative pest control methods, such as habitat manipulation, biological control, and the use of pest-resistant plant varieties. In fact, on many farms, chemical pesticides are excluded from production entirely. Furthermore, the opposition states that plants feel pain as well as animals, and therefore it is not more ethical to choose to eat any one of them. I would like to point out that it is a fact that all living organisms must consume other living organisms for nourishment and sustenance. Although I couldn't find the Harvard research that the opposition cites that plants feel pain, according to the research done by the scientists at the organization PETA, since plants have no central nervous systems, nerve endings, or brains, there is no reason to believe that plants feel pain. But even if the opposition's Harvard findings are accurate, being a vegetarian would still lead to less pain and death in the world. The reason being that the vast majority of grains and legumes raised today are used as feed for cattle. By eating vegetables directly, you save many more plants' lives than you would if you ate animals such as cows, who must consume up to 16 pounds of vegetation, which is an exorbitant amount of vegetation, in order to produce only 1 pound of flesh. Also, even if plants did have the capacity to feel the sensation of pain as intensely as animals do, as the opposition claims, stating that the fact that animals have more defensive capabilities than do plants becomes irrelevant when either one tries to defend themselves against the sheer might that is humanity. A chicken's talons or a cow's hooves are as defensively sound as a tomato's leaves when facing the mechanical killing monstrosity of a slaughterhouse designed by human brains, and thus this argument can be seen as negligible. The opposition also claims that vegetation farm laborers endure more hazardous working conditions than animal farm laborers. Although there are workers who work on vegetation farms that are mistreated, this is not the case for all or even most workers in the industry. Furthermore, it is the case that the health conditions that the opposition is referring to are issues that are particular to farms that use pesticides, which is why I advocated only eating vegetation from sustainable farms that don't use pesticides at the beginning of my speech. Again, I thank you all for your time and consideration, and I thank my opponent for raising these important concerns.